President Cyril Ramaphosa is hosting the Prime Ministers of the Netherlands and Denmark. During a media briefing a short while ago, the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, defended his trip to Ukraine and Russia as head of the Africa Peace Mission. The President says despite the heavy criticism, the trip was important. Ziniko Mhlaba is tracking developments there for us, and he's standing by to give us a sense of what's happening at this hour. Good afternoon, Ziniko.
A very good afternoon to you, Duduzele. Yes, we are still here at Sefako Magado Presidential House in Pretoria, where President Cyril Ramaphosa is hosting two European prime ministers who are coming from Denmark and the Netherlands. Well, we're in the briefing earlier on, it's about an hour ago, the two prime ministers were also briefing the rest of the cabinet ministers who are here from South Africa. One of those ministers was, of course, Minister Patel, who is responsible for trade and industry and competition. Also, the state-owned enterprises minister, Pravin Gordhan. I also saw Mondle Gongobele there, but of course, Foreign Affairs Minister Udeko in local terms. Dr. Naledi Pandor is also in attendance. Well, from the other side, Duduzile, saw the Prime Minister from Netherlands also bring on board the ambassador of Netherlands here in South Africa. One or two things which came out of that briefing earlier on to Diesel was the issue of making sure that there's global stability, especially when it comes to wars. Both prime ministers made mention of the fact that they do understand that here in Africa we also have our own challenges in regards to conflict. However, they also appreciated the role South Africa has been playing in terms of making sure that there's peace and stability in the region in SADC, and they were also referring to that issue of Mozambique in the SADC region, but also saying on the continent, South Africa has been playing a very, very important role. Another issue they spoke about earlier on, Duduzo, was the fact that South Africa was leading that peace mission which went to Russia and Ukraine. So they are saying that they're expecting to get a briefing from the president, or they were hoping that there will be a discussion and briefing about how that mission went about, but also saying that they also appreciated the role South Africa played in terms of being part of that mission, saying that now it will be up to them as other European countries to take those conversations which the peace mission had started forward, and that's those conversations between Ukraine and Russia. President Ramaphosa also gave on the sidelines, spoke to us earlier on in the morning, saying that, well, as much as there was a bit of noise here in South Africa about that mission in regards to its cost and whether it was worth it or not, President Ramaphosa saying that they were very much warmly welcomed on the other side. That's Russia and Ukraine. So they're saying they're very happy, and also had informally that the president might be heading to France later this week. So that's the update. That's where we are, Duduzile, right now. The prime ministers and the president, together with some ministers from South Africa and also representatives from Denmark and Netherlands, are in that meeting right now, which is happening behind doors. That's where they're having those engagements. Will be called back as the media when those relations are being signed off. So that's where we are, to Duduzile, for now.
Alrighty, Ziniko Mhlaba, let's just remind our viewers of what we heard from President Cyril Ramaphosa. Let's take a look, listen.
As you would be aware, South Africa was part of a delegation from 7 African nations that recently returned from meetings with President Zelensky of Ukraine and President Putin of Russia. Among other things, we called for a de-escalation of the fighting that's taking place in that part of the world, and for negotiations to commence with a matter of urgency.
Thank you very much, Ziniko Mhlaba, for that update.